All right, so hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Technical. Now, I've been trying to get some duo queue stuff working and with a friend of mine. And frankly, it has not been going well. The internet's been crashing, I've been having issues, etc., etc., etc. So, I'm just going to make another episode where it's just me. And let me, I guess, fill you guys in really quickly while I queue up for stuff here. What's been going on? So I have been working like crazy, but I've also been playing some League of Legends in my downtime. Now, I've upgraded my internet, so I'm actually now running a stream. Twitch TV/Skiar, S-C-I-A-R, and you guys can watch whenever the stream's up. Now, nothing is guaranteed for now. I'm still kind of working it out, but I'd like to start streaming some games. I don't know if anybody's interested in watching. I know I'm not overly high rated at League yet, but I'm going to play a bunch of different stuff. Frankly, there's not really very many games that I play where it's not like, where I don't play at a very high level. And so I figure, you know, maybe I've got something I can teach some folks. I know in the past people have enjoyed the way that I teach, and I feel like I deliver content in a little bit of a different way. So, hey, if you guys are interested, the stream will be up. Hit me up, let me know, and I'll try and, you know, pop it up anytime that I'm playing. So anyways, in terms of my actual League playing and the League of Legends kind of career that I'm running so far, I started again just a few months ago and just kind of hovered around 1200 for a little bit, and then I just, you know, bumped that up and went from about 1200 to around, I think the last video I made was a couple weeks ago, and I was rated about 1400, and I kind of hovered there for a little bit, and now I'm rated 1650, so I'm going up pretty quickly. You know, I guess I don't know if that's a typical kind of thing or if that's pretty quick. From what I've been reading with other players and how many wins I've seen they've got, it seems like I'm kind of raising myself up there pretty quickly. I've started playing a lot of different, all the different ADs basically. I play a lot of, let's get rid of all this crap. I play a lot of pretty much everybody. You know, I've got about 20-something games on Caitlyn. I got about 20 games on Corki now. I've got about 20 games on Ezreal. I still have well over 100 games on Graves. He's still my most comfortable AD. I played a little more Kog'Maw. He's up around 50%. And the thing you'll notice is I've gotten really kind of addicted to stats. And I think it's really important. If you want to improve, your stats are a very important thing to focus on. So for Graves, I usually die under 4 times per game, which I think is pretty good. Caitlyn, I'm at 4.5. Corki, I'm at 4.3. Ezreal, I'm at 4.4. So I have about 4 deaths a game. It seems pretty standard when I play my AD characters. Sivir, I'm at 5. It's probably one of my highest. I don't really play a lot of Sivir. Vayne, 6.6. Vayne is the one AD that I have not had a good run on. Now, I've only played 5 games, and so it's not a great sample series, but here are the ADs that I personally prefer. I like Caitlyn, I like Corki, I like Ezreal, and I like Graves. And Kog'Maw, sorry. So, we'll talk about this team comp in a second. But I just wanted to focus on stats for a minute here because it's very important. You know, Graves is probably my best hero. He's the one I've played the most. He's the best, you know, sample you're going to get for, like, you know, obviously I put in enough games that my Graves is where Graves is going to be. Like, that is an actual, like, average per game. And 7.3 kills to 4 deaths is a great average, honestly. 190 CS is very important too. You're going to want to get a very large CS for pretty much every role except maybe jungle. Jungle, you could, you know, kind of have a little lower average, but you want to round, like, you know, 170 plus, and then as you improve, you're going to see yourself hovering closer to about 200. And middle, you know, like if I play Karthus or whatever, it's very similar to that. You want to have around 200 creep kills every game. So that being covered just very quickly, I just want to point out, like, you know, you want to try and bump your stats up. And you'll see the heroes that I've played, you know, the more I play, the better I start doing that hero too. So you want to try and specialize. The more you get used to these heroes, the better you're going to do. So, back to the game. I'll try and keep talking here. Just, again, always be explaining, you know, what's going on, how this is going to work. So we've got a Janna and an Ashe. Soraka's going to be able to exhaust. I'm going to be able to ignite. I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive in this lane because Ezreal's kind of a stupid hero. the reason that Ezreal is dumb is because his W button slows the enemy AD, which basically means anytime they try to trade with you, you automatically win if you land your slow. This can obviously be countered by their jungle coming in, which I'm going to assume is Pantheon. They also have a Twisted Fate in middle, which means that going a little more defensive can be good. But for the most part, it's just important to, just let you guys know that having that kind of control is important, and it makes things very one-sided. Whereas a hero like Graves, you're more of a dash shoot kind of guy. You want to, get in, drop your damage, get out. Whereas Ezreal can just kind of like stand his ground a little bit better and, maybe run away, run down. We'll see how I do. Again, I'm not quite as comfortable with this hero as I am with some of the other ones, but the stats that I've been pumping out have been a couple hundred ELO higher than my stats I was getting on some of my other heroes, so I'm just trying to adapt to a lot of these new AD heroes and kind of open my repertoire up to make sure that I can play. If my main hero gets banned, I have something I can drop back to and still do very well on. Still gotta say, Graves is probably my favorite, though. I like Graves. So, I don't have sound. That is odd. That's gonna bug me. Huh. Okay, so I can't hear anything. That's just kind of weird. I'm not sure if that's an XSplit thing or what exactly is going on with that, but we will sort that out later. So back to the game. Okay, again, judging by their lanes, I know they've got TF. That's a very, very volatile middle. He's dangerous, and he will, just pop bot. Bottom is a great lane for TF to gank because bottom's usually so protected because you have vision. Vision's a very important thing on bottom lane. It keeps you safe. It keeps your AD farming. With TF, he can just completely circumvent vision. You can see him in middle, and next thing you know, he's right on your face in bottom. So you have to be very careful when you're playing against a TF, especially when we have, like, what, a Zillion middle? He's not... It's a terrible decision. Zillion middle is going to maybe be able to farm and keep up with TF, but he's not going to be able to make the lane dangerous enough that if TF leaves, he's going to pay for it. So, yeah, as these guys are saying, Zillion is just going to become a walking revive, and it's all going to be on my shoulders. So, the nice thing, too, is as I've ranked up, for anybody still kind of in some lower ratings, I'll tell you right now, the players get so much better as you go. You see less kind of troll picks. You have people actually respectfully handling their lanes. This lack of sound is going to drive me crazy. You can't hear pings or the minions have spawned or any of that stuff. So, yeah, this is going to be probably a pretty rough game, which kind of goes hand in hand with most of the recordings I made lately. The internet's been dropping stuff. I just got a new fiber optic internet put in so that I can start trying to stream and bring you guys some more up-to-date content. So obviously, the game's going to start off, and I hope Soraka covers me pretty well. It looks like he probably will, and it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a boring start where we just farm it up. I can't go overly aggressive because, well, I mean, I kind of can. I have a Soraka. This is also very strange. When you record with XSplit, a lot of times your FPS gets dropped. Something is going on with my recorder because it's usually not a steady 30 FPS. It'll bounce back up to 60 all the time. So I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with that after this game. In the meantime, recording it is. So I'm going to take W second. Usually I would probably pick up Blink second, but I'm not overly afraid of an early game Ashe. She's kind of a bad hero in my opinion. She's very kind of weak, and her trades aren't great. Her AoE nuke slow is fantastic, but only if it hits you, and often you can just kind of throw a creep in the way. So yeah, this is really weird playing at 30 FPS. You get really used to the frame rate you're playing at. So I can kind of control her in that manner, especially if I slow her down. She really can't do much in terms of like a straight up fight. Plus trades are going to be in my favor because I have a Soraka and she has a Janna. So assuming I can bust through that shield, every point of damage I do is something I can heal up where Ashe cannot. Also, I have a Soraka, so I can just... Oops, that was a bad shot. Okay, I'm going to apologize in advance because this 30 FPS is going to mess me up. But yeah, the biggest thing I kind of hope to bring to the table, or the reason I'm assuming you guys want to watch a potentially long episode of me playing League of Legends, is because one, I'm improving quite quickly, so I can kind of tell you guys what I'm figuring out as I go, and it's come down to a lot of like how important team fights are. You want to make sure that I've had a lot of lanes where I lose, and then I come back really well because of how well I do in team fights. And in team fights, a lot of people have huge misconceptions, especially at lower ELO, about what you need to do, or, it's like, oh, why aren't we all focusing the carry? Well, of course you want to focus the carry, but positioning is actually one of the most important things in this game. It's completely overlooked by, like, low-tier, I guess, bad players. There, so see this Ashe gets slowed, pew-pew. Decent trade, we both go about even, but I have a Soraka, so that's actually a negative trade in Ashe, or for Ashe. And now he has to roll potion, whereas I just have to wait. When that shield goes down as well, I'm going to try a little bit of a blink harass here. Bang, bang. Perfect. Now he's low. Don't want to miss that CS. And again, I have Soraka, so in the long run, the longer this goes on for, Ashe is now down 2 pots, and I'm actually controlling the lane. So this is the advantage. In bottom lane, too, the big thing that, another thing lower tier players tend to really avoid is how important support heroes are. The way you mesh with your support, you actually have to completely change your playstyle depending on which support hero you get that game. Yeah, see, now my FPS is up to 60. I don't know what's going on with this game. Anyways, I'll just miss a bunch of CS and tell you guys, I'll just blame it on the FPS, because that's how I'm going to play this one out. So, with Ezreal, I originally was leveling up his Q button first, but it scales really well with your AD, so I feel like it's actually better to go with his W. By the time you need his Q button's cooldown to be shorter for like full-blown team fights where you're going to roll his 5-stack of Rising Spell Force, you actually generally are a high enough level. So, and you want to do well in your lane, which is really important, so you pick up your W to control the lane. Ashe can't do anything if you slow his attack speed by 35%. It's ridiculously one-sided. I can just stand there and shoot the crap out of him again. See, now I'm back to full. Ashe is down all these potions. I still have 3, and he's completely out of regen now, which means I can just harass him all day long, and there's nothing he can do. Now, if I go with my Q button, it's great because your attack speed, you can stack your buff really easily with it, and it hits for good damage. The cooldown's really short, but you can't just like play this dirty control game that you can pull off with your other option. Bang, bang. Yeah, see, I'm doing really bad on CS. That's the other thing too. The more you play, the more you're going to find your CS goes up. And as if I start doing recordings, I'm sure that I'll kind of adjust to this this change, like this frame rate bouncing around. Usually I just sit at a solid 60, so it's kind of a strange feeling for me. And I'll adjust to be able to ramble on and talk, and still will maintain like the high standards I expect of myself. Again, I'm not really sure if I know I'm not an overly high rated player in general, but I'm not sure if my progression's been pretty quick or not. I feel like it has. I usually do pretty well at video games. It's something that I just always compete at. I love competition. I love games, and it just does not take me very long to pick them up and learn a bunch of stuff, which is why I'm hoping to keep telling you guys all about it. The more you play, the better you're going to do, but also, a few tips never hurt anybody. I know I certainly looked some stuff up and learned from some other people, so also, that's a kind of a comment on the whole, you're not 2600, what can I learn from you? Well, anybody better than you or doing better than you, or even people at the same level as you, hell, even people below you can teach you things. Learn from everywhere. Don't close your mind off to things. At the same time, 2600 players usually have a little better stuff to teach you than I do, but they obviously aren't, or they aren't always teaching in the same way. I find a lot of like new player content can inform you of some stuff you wouldn't have otherwise picked up on, because maybe Afromu doesn't consider telling you why W button is a good thing is going to be relevant information. Ooh, so now we got TF is dangerous. He's going top, dropping down singed. You got to watch out for that. I was a little bit overextended there, so it probably would have been dangerous. But again, I've got my massive slow. I've got double blink. I've got ignite up still. It's not really defensive, but I can kind of control this lane. Ashe is now 6-0, so I really have to be careful. If he ulties me and a TF blinks on me, I'm pretty much dead at this range. I don't think Soraka's being able to save me, and he's backed anyways. Now, luckily, this Soraka is doing, in my opinion, not a bad job. And he backed, but he backed in kind of a secretive manner, so they don't actually know that he's gone. You see, this Ashe isn't going to want to engage me with a slow on him. It's brutal trying to fight Ezreal. Second your attack speed gets slowed, you know, he just wins all of the exchanges, and they know, you know, I've got a Soraka, so I kind of thought he'd jump out of that bush. Bang, bang. Now, the nice thing about Soraka, it's kind of a curse, a blessing and a curse, is that you can farm for days, but you don't end up backing because you're just always at full health and mana, and you don't have to, you know, worry about anything. So you just got to be careful. You don't want to let the other AD get too far ahead of you. Now, this Ashe hasn't backed yet, so we're actually still on even ground. Soraka has managed to leave, which means he's picked up some more wards. Their Janna's obviously off in the river right now, warding up. So everything on the lane is pretty happy. Here we go. As I was saying, you know, I've got my safety up. Probably did not need that flash. That was a little bit overzealous of me, but, you know, better safe than sorry. I burned a flash, but I'm alive, so. Bang. Crap. This is really weird to play without sound, and that was really bad of me. It is very, very strange to not have any noise. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stick with my boots so I can pick up a full phage here. I go Trinity Force pretty early on Ezreal. I like to get some decent regen as well because you want to kind of go Trinity Force into either an IE or a Bloodthirster or whatever. I've been trying out a lot of different item builds lately, and I can't really tell you exactly what my favorite is yet. I know a lot of the pro players tend to also switch it up, and they kind of disagree on a lot of stuff. I can't believe that Ashe managed to get out of there, too. I thought we'd get them for sure. Good old Pantheon, though, covering them. If a Moo comes in, it's going to be just as bad as Pantheon, but with two map-wide ultis, they're going to be very, very dangerous. For the first, I'd say 25 minutes, they are going to win the game. And if they don't, they are doing something really wrong. And then we should start turning it around when their ultis become less prevalent in team fights. So, River's warded. Lane control's good. I've got pretty good. So again, Ezreal's going to win trades. Oh, maybe not. I am stuck in the wall there, I guess. I couldn't move. That's great. Thank God, Singe finally coming in. We've needed that for a while. Okay, so I can't quite get boots. 20 gold in 10 seconds is not quite going to happen. That might be worth waiting, though. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to wait at the 7 gold. This is something that I've personally been kind of looking up and trying to figure out when it's worthwhile and when it's not. I think in League of Legends you tick gold quickly enough that if you're within 10 it can be an okay idea. We're about to pick up a dragon, so I could have, you know, waited that out too and seen what else I could pick up, but other than maybe a pot or two, wasn't really going to make a big difference, so whatever. Alright, so now it looks like I'm doing pretty bad. I'm losing my lane. Ezreal should be taking these trades, but that Janna got an amazing ulti that just rammed me into the corner, and I couldn't do a goddamn thing after that. I don't know how he managed to just keep pushing me. I don't know. There's a bit of a movement bug that I've heard about, or I've seen in action a few times, where you just kind of, your character wigs out and won't move, or they just kind of get like stuck on creeps. I don't know if that's what just happened to me, because I definitely wasn't moving. I don't know. I'll have to review this later. I'm kind of curious now. So, I'm losing, but in all honesty, I don't know. I guess I lose often enough. I'm not really shocked by losing a lane. What I've been trying so many things out lately and trying to sort out what the best way of doing stuff is that, you know, whatever. Losing a lane is nothing. Got my Soraka here. Pew pew, Ashe. Personally, I hate playing with Janna's too. She's an excellent, excellent, excellent support hero, but oh my god, are most of them ever so bad. There we go. See, Ezreal does win trades, I told you. Oh, can't catch me, Janna. Now, it'd be really nice if we had like a good jungle coming in and trying to support us a little bit on bottom, because you know they've had, you know, Pantheon porting in and stuff. But the biggest thing that I've learned playing and like ranking up so quickly, I guess, is that you cannot rely on your teammates. They're going to be there. You can rely on them to try, but you can't rely on them to do a good job. And, you know, this Amumu is 0-2, so he's really not doing a great job. So I can't really rely on him to come help me out with my lane, which is a problem I see a lot of people fall into. They start blaming the jungle, they start blaming each other, and you just kind of end up in a big bitch fest at that point in time. And you know what? It's not helping, so you might as well just accept it and then start trying to adjust your playstyle to it. If you cannot adjust, you will not advance in this game. The Amumu, you know, not helping me is going to be something that, you know, you just have to deal with. And they've been pushed up. They've been very aggressive. They've been fighting me constantly. You know, they've quite clearly shown that if Amumu was going to come down here, he could. It's not a lane he cannot gank, but he's not doing a very good job. So Singe down again to Rumble. Rumble's a phenomenal hero right now, by the way. I've really got to stop missing all the CS. Oh shit, I'm in trouble. Yep, I'm dead. Yep. Double ports with me being overly aggressive means you get to die. Now I'd like to get some regen, but let's go with the full sheen. It's better to spend your money properly. Now if I can spawn, I might be able to pick this TF up. So, I'm dying. It's bad. I'm not doing a very good job. I can point fingers and blame talking or any of these things, but, you know, whatever. Shit happens. So, when you're in this kind of a spot, team's down 6 kills. You're dead. You're 1-3-1, which is not great. Rumble's getting a ton of kills. Our jungle's utterly worthless. I guess, you know what? Let me just cover a quick second on this topic here. When your team, okay, I'm doing bad, but let's face it, it's not the Ashe and the Janna that I'm really losing to. If anything, we've gone 1-1 with our little fights back and forth with them. It's definitely the rest of their team. You know, their Pantheon and their Twisted Fate are all over bottom, which I called from the beginning. You know, it's going to be one of those lanes. They're going to win it for a good long time because they have heroes that can just blink in and help. We have had, you know, very little assistance on bottom lane. Now we've had a little bit of help. Singed poured in that one time and killed the Ashe. So the Ashe is actually only 1-2, which means, you know, I'm dying, but whatever. I'm not that far behind in terms of ADs or AD versus AD. The other thing that's really bothering me is not having sound. Jesus, that is annoying. I don't know if you guys ever had to put up with that. Which means you're probably not going to be able to hear any sound when you guys watch this either, which I'm sorry for that. It's very frustrating. But at least you can kind of share my frustration in that. It's really hard to play and focus without sound. You don't pick up on pings at all. Bang. Back off. Alright, so we finally got our jungler down here. He's going to saunter his fat Amumu ass in that bush and see what he can do. Pew pew. Yeah, that's not happening. As I said, don't expect much from the Amumu. You try if he comes, because, you know, you might as well try, but... Ooh, that was bad. Yeah, he's telling me to wait for him to initiate, but he got thrown away by Janna. I kept an Ashe still when fighting me, which is fantastic. Like, you know, you want to make it seem appealing for the other team to fight you. If your jungler comes in, you know, you want to bait, basically. You bait out a fight. So I don't really agree with that Amumu's statement to wait it out. I don't know, maybe I could have given him an extra second or two to get in position, but I shouldn't wait for him to engage. If, you know, they've got wards, they've got sight, they've got Janna, it's not going to be easy for Amumu to just waltz in on that Ashe. If I keep him kind of still or focused on me, he has, you know, a good chance of getting him. Again, I wasn't paying complete attention, so maybe he is right, but I'm just sharing my thoughts. Okay, so now it's getting very risky for me to be here. Also, they're taking dragon, and I don't like that. But my teammates do not seem to be stopping them, even though we have 2 on bottom. Oh, he's got flash up. And now I'm going to die. Yeah, this game's over. Oops. Oh, and now is the point in the game where everybody is going to blame everybody else for losing. Obviously, it's going to be my fault that I lost on bottom, which Soraka will tell me, even though, you know, we've had Twisted Fate and Pantheon diving all over our lane. Our Mumu has done a horrendously bad job. We 0-4 in jungle, and top lane has also, he's gone 2-2. So, to be fair, pretty much our entire team is lost. Now, Zilean has a, you know, again, he's not doing horrendously bad. He's 2-3. He has like a recoverable score. But just remember this. Keep this in mind, guys. You don't win every game. Obviously, you know, you can see from my stats and my increase, you know, I'm doing okay. I'm not a horrendously bad player. You know, I'm having a bad match. It happens. But your whole team matters. If you pick Zilean in middle and you go, you know, 3-0, that's great. But if you pick Zilean against Twisted Fate, who can just blink gank bottom over and over, and bottom lane starts feeding, there's your problem. You know, you've got your lane is causing bottom lane to lose. So, despite the fact that you're doing well, if you're doing well, you'll help the other lanes too. You know, if their lane was, or if everybody else was less strong, they wouldn't have been able to roll over our team there and then get that double kill on us, putting me down to a 1-4. If my teammates were stronger and they were able to take that fight, then I would have easily been able to, you know, handle the running away Ashe and then turn around and join them to clean up. That was not the case, unfortunately. Ashe has now killed Zilean, even though he has Chrono. Don't really know how that happened. I'm guessing an Ashe arrow, but we should probably come up here and help these guys out. Bam, suck that, Janna. Oh, that was really bad. Yep, there goes his summoner heal. And now Ezreal's back in the game. So, as I said, I've lost a lot of games, or lost a lot of lanes too. You gotta just keep trying. You don't want to give up too quickly. This game's still probably over, honestly, but at least I'll be useful now, and I got a good score, and I did a good job in a fight. Let's see, get that Mystic Shot finished off. Pew pew. The other thing to keep in mind too, something that I've almost stopped paying attention to. Alright, TF's up, his ulti's going, we gotta be careful. We're all together, so he's not obviously gonna blink in, because that would be very risky and stupid. I have a ton of money right now, which is nice, but I also have a really decent CS. So even though we've lost, Ashe is actually about 30 creep kills behind me. So I've lost, and I did a bad job in my lane. I got killed a lot, but in the long run, I'm actually still killing the Ashe. I'm still beating him in farm. So in terms of ADs, I'm actually doing a better job than he is. He's 2-3. I mean, I just cleaned up a fight, but I still have stayed ahead of him in CS. So that kind of stuff is why I can recover, whereas the Ashe might not, because I'm losing my lane in terms of kill to death. However, I am winning my lane in terms of farm, because their teammates are killing me, not my lane. So it's middle and, you know, etc. coming down to drop me, not my teammates. Again, the other thing that's really throwing me off is the lack of sound. This is really tough to deal with. I'm so used to sound and all these cues for what's going on. I probably need to go up there because they're going to fight, even though they probably shouldn't. So I got overly cocky from one little win. Let's back this up, guys. Hey, maybe I'll be able to show you guys a really sweet comeback, but again, unlikely. This is the part of the game, though, where I feel everything gets a lot more important. We have done a horrendously bad job. However, we have an okay team for team fighting. They have a very, very good team for the first 25 minutes, and you can see now we're starting to come back. It gives us potential. Again, this game's probably over because they got so far ahead, but TF is... Oh, that is a very bad engagement of Mumu. Back that up. Oh, I'm going to die now. Thanks, Amumu. Now, you might ask, why am I shooting the Rumble? It's because I would love to shoot everyone else, but that's not working for me. No, oh, okay, whatever. They'll clean that up. I should have flashed out of that faster. That would have been a pretty sweet survive for me. Alright, so now I need to get my damage up because I'm being given an opportunity to clean up their team, and I think I'm doing a pretty decent job of it. My teammates are starting some of the worst engagements possible, but it's still kind of working out because, you know, he's got an Amumu ulti. The reason we might stand a chance here is team comps. So let's focus on that for a minute. Ooh, BF sword, perfect. Okay, team comps start to get really, really important as you rank up. So keep this in mind. At lower tier play, this can still matter. Even though we are very far behind, they have a lot more money, a lot more everything, we seem to be having a little bit better team comp. Again, I don't personally like Ashe in team fights. I don't think she's as strong as Ezreal, Corki, Graves. I think those are like your big top three. Ashe is a perfectly fine hero. Her arrow is fantastic for starting fights, for getting a good engagement, but she's not overly strong. She doesn't have a really good, she doesn't have like a steroid. She doesn't have an amazing set of moves. She has Hawk Shot and Slow Shot, which basically, you know, gives her very limited skill set. Let's save this guy, back it up. There we go. Now we got away from Pantheon. Cool. So we got everybody out of that. That was good. Risky, but good. They're going to try and take Dragon, which is going to be bad. See if I can't hit them from here. So I've got Flash Up, which is the only reason I think that was a decent idea to go over that hill there. Bang, take that Rumble. Cleaning him up. Bang. Alright, that was really, really risky on my part. But it worked out, so huzzah. Let's hope this TF doesn't come blinking around on me or something. I think he's a little bit preoccupied anyways. At 30 health, even though I would love to go and try and poke him with something, there is no reason I should be doing that. He's doing plenty fine. He could easily just get a one-shot on me, and you don't want to run in and give that up. I just got a triple. You don't want to sacrifice that. So I feel like this is kind of turning into a decent game. Even if we lose, it's a decent game to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. I lost on bottom badly. I was super far behind, but these team fights are just making up for everything. As I said, the biggest thing I've been learning since I've leveled up my points is that team fights and like the team fighting section of the game is where everything matters. If you can have like 1 or 2 good team fights, you can turn an entire beginning of the game completely around. So everyone just kind of has to play their role, and that's the nice thing. As you get to higher tier play, you're going to see people with higher CS. This game is not an amazing example. Soraka is obviously running in there and being in a really risky spot too, but he's probably trying to counter ward. My teammates are kind of at low 130s, whereas I'm up to 180. 180 is about where they probably should be sitting too. Although again, as an AD, you want to very much focus on farm like all the time. And I missed a ton of CS early game too. I should be even higher than I am, but so I'd love to go farm bottom, but in all honesty, the thought that comes in my mind right now is, if I was a bad player, I'd go farm bottom. If I can get them to back off, I'd still like to go bottom, but I don't see that happening with pubs very often. They don't see this as a bad, like, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta get the fuck out of there. Back the fuck up. Do not fight. Go push out lanes. Stop running your faces in there. FYI, cleaning up creeps on tower is really important to understand. If I start this, I'm finishing this, so don't start a fight. I should probably have been taking this earlier. I'm going to focus on too many other things. Alright, now this is a decent time to fight. Our lanes are pushed out, we're in control again. If they start something off, I'm close enough that I'll be able to join them from the back of the fight, which honestly is not really a bad thing for an AD. They've got to be careful though. See, now that was bad for me. That was really bad for me. See, that was a bad fight because they went way too far to get it. They were charged so far away that suddenly I had to blink into a bad position to engage it, which means that, again, you can blame me for dying in that fight. But when you look at it as a team, remember what the rest of your teammates are doing. That Amumu ultied, which was great. He caught everybody, but he was up here, and we were down here. So Amumu ulting up the hill with their whole team in it doesn't help if your teammates can't do any damage. So the only reason he would do that is to hold them still for us, which is great. So by the time we get there, we don't have a big AoE ultimate anymore, which is our winning team, like our team fight winner. So he just threw that away and then forced us into a terrible engagement because if you blow the Amumu ulti, we have to engage. You cannot just back off. It's easy to say, oh, you shouldn't ever die. I should not have 6 deaths on Ezreal, but I have to go in on these fights. If I don't, our team's going to get cleaned up, and it's going to be very negative for me. At least if I go in, even on a bad fight, hopefully we might be able to make it out okay. So don't start bad fights. If you start bad fights, you're going to drag your teammates in them with you, and they're not going to like you for that. I really wish I had some sound. The noises make me happy, and not having them makes me unhappy. Okay, so let's see. Another thing to keep checking up on is who's doing well on their team. Their Pantheon, their Twisted Fate, Rumble's kind of doing pretty well too, I guess. So those are 3 heroes that are great for them to have doing so well. However, we have our AD carry doing well, which is me, and I like that because I feel like I control this game now. So if the Amumu and the Singed can just start a decent fight, we will win. I deal enough damage, and Ezreal is a safe enough hero that I should be able to take that as a win. Bang, bang. Get off that ward. Leave it alone. Alright, so this is the kind of stuff that we should almost be starting. Back it off. Come on, Mumu, join this fight. See, now the problem with that is that I just had to burn my stun. Bang. There, now we got Soraka helping me out. Oh, shit. ADs should also play kind of on the edge of things. You don't want to go diving through the Pantheon to get to the Ashe unless you can, like, give them both. It's safer to just kill one and then work your way to the next. So if Singed can fling, or I can blink, which is coming up in 2 seconds here. Yes, I got it. Oh, that was a little getting ahead of myself there. Perfect. Aced. That's what I like to see. So that's the other thing to do. You see, I don't know why, but this is a concept people don't seem to understand, is team composition. If you want to get to a high rating, you're going to need some team composition. I wonder if we could kill this. Not if Soraka backs. Yeah, well, whatever, I guess then. Team composition is extremely important because that team was so far ahead, and we're now winning. And why is that? Because we can get an easily farmed Ezreal because we have some very good hold-down heroes. This is going to be kind of risky to get this red, so I need to do this quickly. Like Singed can get in there and hold them down. Amumu can get in there and hold them down. Everybody can get in there and hold them down, and I can just fire away. Again, I hate Ashe. Oh, that's bad. I need to get out of here. Oh, Jesus. If he catches me with that, that's going to be bad. Don't worry, I got some teammates backing me up over here. They are really diving to try and get a hold of me. See, now I want to back, but they're going to try and go near Baron or do something stupid around here, so. Oh, there's the Amumu going in again. Alright, good. We got a Shirelias. That should help us get into this fight in time. Boom. See, the problem with this fight is that I have no mana. I was hoping Soraka could maybe top me off a little bit. Back it up, back it up. There we go. Alright, out. Everybody out. Come on. It's not working. Just walk with the Amumu, and we're a big blob, and everyone's a happy family leaving the fight. Okay. That was good. See everyone retreating as a team? That's really nice. No, retreat. God damn you fucking idiots. Leave that fight alone. Back away. Why do you people insist on ruining everything? I'm slowing them for you. Run. Ugh. See, now that's where you just gotta abandon the imbeciles and hope to dear God the other team doesn't win the game for crap like that. You can't, you can only ping so many times, and then, you know, you gotta just live with it. I need like 50 gold. So they're going to take an inhibitor for that, which sucks. Again, as I said, this game's, I've been calling this game maybe over from the beginning for a reason. Because you can only do so much, and I'm obviously holding it down for my role. But, alright, let's go stop this Baron. Ah, it's not going to work. That was a good Rumble ulti. Pushed me right off of that. That's their Baron. Leave it alone, guys. Sometimes you just gotta back off and wait. Go heal up or something. You cannot just continuously fight. If you continuously fight, you're going to eventually lose because they will get the health advantage and they will take every bit of that advantage. Now, if I can get myself this last Whisper, I will have lots and lots of armor penetration. And then I have lots and lots of AD, and I can hurt things. Now, I'm a weird player. I don't like to... A lot of people, you know, will drop the Guardian's Angel before they, you know, get even this far. There's definitely, like, a reason to that. You know, like, there's a good reason to getting the Guardian's Angel sometimes. But in this case, and in most cases in a pub game, I need to do all of the work. I need to clean up their entire team. If you position yourself properly, you don't need a Guardian's Angel because you won't die on an AD. If they manage to dive right through everything, you will die. Alright, let's see if I can't steal this with a... Bam. Got it. So yeah, like I like to just keep pumping out my damage because if I can just clean up from a distance, then we're gonna win. Oh, that was bad, but I got a really nice slow on everybody. That stupid Rumble ulti is just killing me. Back it up, Singed. Kind of thought we would go in on that. That was my bad. Everyone makes mistakes, except that I'm important enough that my mistakes lose us the game. So let's see if my teammates can do anything without me. Yeah, didn't think so. Not even one hero. One in 10 Amumu is giving me some lessons in why I shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. And there's game. So, yeah, I got caught. Kind of cost us the game there at the end. But, you know, that game has been... We've been getting butchered for so long. Our team comp was holding it together because I was able to farm. not so much because, anybody else was really... Amumu was able to ulti them, Singe was getting in the way, but it was a pretty horrible team. I mean, both teams had some pretty bad team comps, but theirs apparently just came back in the end. Reasons for that is because if Amumu and Singe did not have a perfect run at it and just let me shoot the entire time, we couldn't clean up their whole team. The whole game was on my shoulders, as I said from the beginning, and I held it together as long as I could. I don't know. That's just kind of my late game recap. I could probably ramble on for another half an hour about what went on there. But, I lost a game. My score was decent at the end. I was holding it down for my team. I was trying to hold everything together. But frankly, that Rumble had 16,000 gold farm. It was 14-6. The fact that we even made it that far was phenomenal. The Zillion was 2-7. The Amumu was 1-10. The Soraka was 0-5. The Singe was the only hero with any kills. And let's face it, a Rod of Ages being your only damage item means that we have 0 damage output. Nobody was pumping out any damage except for me. So... how do you win a game with one hero being that important? When I went down there, we actually got a decent little cluster of them. We had a decent amount of control. If my team had been doing well, they would have actually cleaned that fight up. It wasn't as horribly one-sided as it looked, again, if we had a decent team. Zillion is a very low damage hero. To a degree. He has a speed boost and his ultimate brings people back to life, which is cool. But when you compare it to a hero like, let's say, Karthus. Karthus has a massive AoE damage circle, and his ultimate nukes the entire team. And he has, 1 CC still, but it keeps everybody together. So he has Zillion in comparison as a very low damage hero. That's not necessarily always a bad thing. Sometimes they bring something to the table everyone else doesn't. Like, for example, if he could have ultimated me in that last little feedy team fight there, I would have come back to life. That would have been cool. If Zillion was ulting the only hero on the team doing any damage, that would have probably been a good thing for him to do. Maybe he wasn't in position for that one, but that's the kind of role that he can fill. So that's why he brings something to the table that a Karthus would not, whereas Karthus would bring more damage. I'm just using Karthus as an example. I don't think he necessarily should have chosen Karthus, although it probably would have done a little bit better because Twisted Fate ported away, he would have pushed his lane extremely quickly, and a farmed Karthus is very scary. A farmed Zillion is not so scary. He doesn't have... I mean, a farmed anybody is scary to a degree, but he doesn't have the damage output. Singed is very low damage as well. He has his poison. He normally buys 1 damaging item, which is a Rod of Ages, and then he is a tank. Amumu is an extremely low damage jungle. You could have Shyvana, you could have Nocturne, you could have even like a Mundo would walk out of there with a ton of damage compared to Amumu. The reason you pick Amumu is because his AoE hold down is incredible. So, that brings a lot to the fight. But when you already have Singed being low damage, then you have Zillion being low damage, then you have Amumu being low damage, obviously your support is always going to be low damage. It's a bad mix. So think of your team comp when you pick that, because that is a horrible team to play with. Meanwhile, on their team, they had 2 team-wide map porters, which gave them a very easy early game dominance. As you saw, they were kicking the crap out of me, and for a reason. They were both porting bottom all the time, which means our wards are useless. We can't see it coming because they can just hit R and be there anytime. Rumble, obviously, is a completely overpowered hero right now. They've already specified they're going to nerf him. But if you play something that's not Singed, well, even Singed can do okay against him, but you want to play something against Rumble that's going to actually do well. You don't, like, Rumble's a really hard counter to high armor heroes, which is kind of what Singed is. Now, the Singed wasn't an idiot. He got a Force of Nature, and he got Mercury Tread, so he started trying to build some magic resist. But you need a lot of magic resist a lot faster, and Rumble doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to be afraid of you with magic resist. He gets to go damage, so he ends up being a lot more useful in the game, and, again, he murdered that Singed. He had a higher CS, higher gold, everything. So, as I said, I could probably talk about this for like the next half an hour. All I know is that at the end of the day, I was far more useful than Ashe, which is basically all I can do. And that's unfortunately how it works. You get to be useful, and if your teammates aren't carrying their weight or their part of it, you're going to lose the game. And I think I did a decent job. Again, I was having a rough beginning. I came back in the mid game. I was doing great by the late game. I had one little mistake, but if my teammates had been holding it together, they could have at least stopped a push. I mean, 4v5 should be pretty one-sided, but it shouldn't be full team alive ace kind of one-sided. And that's how it was, because my teammates had no damage output. They just had 1 or 2 heroes flip from their kind of tanky role to damage. That would have helped a lot. And that way, if I get zerged, they would have dealt a lot of damage while that's going on. So those are my thoughts. That's kind of how League of Legends works for me, and I will, if you guys are interested in this, I will keep pumping out content. The last video got a decent reviews, I guess, from the few people that watched it. It wasn't overly popular, because I'm guessing this shit's really long. It's probably like a 50-minute video already. But it's important to me to kind of share just some thoughts with you guys. You kind of can see where the mindset goes and how you improve at this stuff. And you'll start to learn this as you play. So just keep at it. Keep thinking. But just remember this kind of stuff. Team composition, very important. Team fights, positioning, who you go in on, how you drop your damage. That kind of stuff is really important. You want to, you want to do very well in those fights. You want to be on the edge if you're AD. You want to be in the middle if you're a tank. You want to be kind of in the edge middle if you're AP. You want to be in front of your AD, but not necessarily in front of anybody else. Your support characters can obviously play a supportive role. Usually they want to try and keep the AD alive while the other team's kind of bruisers dive in there and try and go after him. But yeah, you know what? I'm just going to keep pumping out videos so I can stop talking for today and let you guys go. So thank you for watching Beyond Technical. I will continue to bring you guys some content, and hopefully next time I win.